Well, hey, what's up, India? We are here to do a movie review. I'm not even going to attempt this name. I'm just going to say sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Kabhi Haan Kabhi Naa.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Very young SRK.
Very young, yeah.
Very, very young.
This is 24 years ago.
And I think this may be the youngest film of his that I've seen.
Well, for me, it certainly is, because I haven't seen a lot of his films. I've seen a handful, maybe.
I thought, first of all, completely different than what you've been brought up on.
Yes, this is way different than the typical Indian films that I watch.
Very much had like a Broadway play. Like, this could be a play. You kind of have that feeling like you could just put it on the stage and just make it a play, sound stage.
What it felt like to me was a 1950s American or 1960s American film that was of the genre of beach blanket bingo. That's what this felt like to me. So for our Indian friends who are not familiar with that style of film, Google it, beach blanket bingo. There were some films I think that were actually called beach blanket bingo.
Yeah, there were.
I'm just talking about the general style. That's what this reminded me of.
Heavy Western influence.
Yes, everybody had very Americanized names.
Chris, Nikki.
Yes, Anna. Yes, everything was very Americanized.
Catholic. We saw the Catholic.
Yes.
It was set in Goa,
yes.
So you get that Catholic influence.
Right.
We see reference to Van Halen. Like, I was like, Van Halen, dude.
Yeah, there was like I said, a lot of Americanized things in this film.
And this would have been Van Halen then, because this was 93?
94.
So this would have been like 51. This would have been after 5150.
Well,
Van
yeah,
Halen
that was
album.
when we were in high school. So
this
that
would have been like OU 812.
This would have been past that. This would have been like when I was pregnant with our son. So, yeah. That's
wow.
way after that.
They had the Doors. Yeah. We saw the Doors in there.
We saw the Doors in there. Yeah.
A
lot of American references. I think we saw something that was a Top Gun reference
as
well.
He had the Marlboro cigarettes on his hat.
Yes.
And Marine sticker on his motorcycle, but it was American Marines.
We were very surprised to see all of the Americanism, for lack of a better term.
What did you think of the movie?
I'm just going to get this right out there. I know I'll probably be skewered by SRK fans. I was not a fan of this film. It's not my style. I thought he relied way too much on physical comedy instead of just showcasing his acting skills. So I just wasn't a fan of this. The story itself is a classic story. Two guys going after the same girl, and she clearly has her eyes set on one guy in particular. And so the guy who is losing out, which would be SRK in this instance, he pulls some shenanigans that, of course, backfire on him. So the story itself is a fine story. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I just didn't think that there were a whole lot of great actors in this film. I thought that the acting was subpar, and he relied way too much, I think, on physical props instead of just acting. He was just kind of physically goofy throughout the whole thing, and I just didn't like that.
That physical comedy was very much what Barfi was, with the poor kid in it.
Yeah, not my style.
I typically kind of bash on SRK. I enjoyed this film.
Yes, you did.
I started off like, I don't know what this is, and the further it got going, I was surprised. I saw some range in him, even though it was it was under the mask of the goofy shenanigans that he was doing, but there was some range in him, and I was surprised at how many plot twists, because I thought for sure he's going to get the girl, and then he's not going to get the girl, and then he's going to get the girl, and it kept going back and forth. And I thought ultimately it ended up in a good place. It kept me guessing,
right?
But there's just no way SRK loses Anna to Chris in real life. Chris is like one of the homeliest dudes I've ever seen. He looked like Richard Marx with that haircut, dude. That was like.
But here's the thing: if you're going to act like SRK did in this film, and you're going to not only lie about the guy, but then the girl that you supposedly love, you're implying that she's a loose girl, that she has bad morals. If you're going to say that about her, don't be surprised that you don't end up with her. So, yeah.
I think SRK carried this film. Now, there was somebody else in there, and you said, hey, it's that dude from Michael, and I forget his name.
It was the priest.
Yes, I know.
Told you.
And I was like, I don't know, man. He looks...
Well, first I said he was the guy from Finding Fanny.
Yes.
And you're like, what? I'm
I
like,
didn't
you know,
see
the
it.
guy that was in
Yes.
Michael.
Uh-huh.
You're like, yeah, I don't see it. I said, the priest. He's the
Yes,
guy
yeah.
from Michael and Finding Fanny. And of course he was.
Yeah,
So,
and he was a fun character in there.
Yeah.
But it seems weird to me to see Catholicism in like Indian Hindu setting. You know what I mean? Like it was. It comes up from time to time, especially when they're focused in on Goa, because
Right.
Goa was, I think, a Portuguese colony at one time, and then the French
which
took
would
over.
explain the Catholicism.
Right. It's just. It was. I don't know. It was different. It was very different seeing that.
We've seen other Indian films where they've had Catholicism depicted in there.
Yeah, doesn't it take you off guard a little bit? Like it does. It seems
Well,
odd.
yes,
like,
because
it seems
that's
like,
not what you
like
think of when you think of India.
Something in this picture doesn't belong here. What is it?
Right.
And it
Well,
seems
with
to be the
this,
Catholicism.
it wasn't just the Catholicism that took us aback. It was all of the American names. Oh, and the way that they were dressed. Like, those dresses that those girls were wearing, that's something that you would
From
see
1950s,
in
yeah.
1950s America. So, yeah.
Even the desserts. The dad was a confectionery
yes,
baker, you know,
yes.
and the desserts looked like they came from 1950.
Yes, everything about this film felt very 1950s America to me. So,
I think I enjoyed the film.
I know you did.
And I thought this was one of the better performances I've seen of SRK. When I saw him, like when he cries, I want to cry, dude. Like he looks like he's really, really sad when
That's
he cries.
how I feel when I see Big B crying.
Oh, yes, it's okay.
Yeah, that's another movie
yes.
review, though.
Oh, okay.
It's
It is true. Yes. I enjoyed this. I think SRK was clearly the best actor on the screen. Like when you look at the cast, I think he was by far the best actor. You don't agree out of that cast? Who outacted him? Who?
While Chris was ugly, I think
No.
Chris acted much better.
No.
Yeah. Particularly the scene in the movie where SRK has gone to Anna's family because he wants to marry her, and the families have already arranged it. And so he goes upstairs, he talks with Anna. We all think this is a done deal. He's going to marry her. He leaves and then realizes, oh, I had this gift from my parents that I'm supposed to bring to her. He turns around and comes back, and when he goes up there, he hears Chris in the room talking to Anna. Mm-hmm. And so he's just kind of listening. Chris's acting in that scene in particular, I thought was very good and much better than anybody else in the whole film.
I think I disagree.
You're entitled to your opinion.
I disagree. Now, one of the things that was funny that we, Anna's brother looked older than the dad, did he not?
Yes, we pointed
It was
that out
like,
many times. Like,
dad
he's
looks
supposed
like he's
to be the son.
50s,
He looks older
yeah, he
than
looks
the
older
dad.
than Pops, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that was a little weird.
It was a fun movie. It was a good movie. I think that this would be something that you could show your grandma Cass and she'd watch it.
Oh, my grandma! If
she
she were still alive,
Yeah.
my grandma would have loved this film.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. You get the Catholicism, you get the music, the dancing. I don't think she would understand what India is because she was a little senile towards the end.
towards the end of her life, yeah, she had dementia.
She would probably think everybody was Hispanic and be asking about. Do you remember when she saw Barack Obama and she thought for sure that he was Hispanic?
I don't remember her saying he was Hispanic. No.
Anyways.
She had dementia at the end of her
Yes.
life, so yeah, there were things
But she was
that
a cool
didn't
lady.
quite understand.
Cool
so.
lady, and she didn't think women could vote.
She did not, but that was well
Yes,
before
yes.
she had dementia.
dude.
That was like
Grandpa
whoa.
Cass had kept her in the dark,
Yeah, I
dude.
think my grandpa
Dude.
convinced her that women couldn't
women
vote.
can't. She's like, women can't vote.
Remember,
Tishy, women can't vote.
I had to tell her that
Jimmy,
I had
tell
my
her.
voter ID card with me and I could pull it out and show you. Yeah, but that's a whole other story.
So what grade do you give this film?
We will not be able to agree on this, so I'll be curious as to how you title this video.
Okay.
Because, in my opinion, the final grade is a C.
I think it's better than average, right? I mean, because a C is average. This is a better than average film,
I disagree.
and I think after this film, SRK's back's got to be sore because he carried everything. Like he's got to be like, my back, dude. I'm tired of carrying everybody in every scene. Could you please get off my back and start acting?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a B. So I guess if we average those out, you're at a C plus B minus, depending on how the curve goes.
Yeah.
But to the SRK fans, that I, because everybody knows that it's no secret that I hate on SRK.
Right.
This was a good performance. I'm curious. I want to see more of this now.
I disagree. I don't think it was a good performance. Nevertheless, I will still watch other films of his to see, the progression, because we've seen him in other films where I thought he was clearly a way better actor than he was in this film. Even though he's not one of my favorite actors, I think he can act way better than he did here. And I know this was early in his career. Overall, I just didn't think this was a great movie.
And a lot of that, too, is going to be from the director. I'm sure the director is setting the tone. Do it this way.
Right.
Do it that way. Because they're copying a genre, I believe. So, all right, we're going to get going, and because we have another movie review to do.
That's true.
A big B film. There's a shocker, right?
Yay.
Say goodbye, Tish.
Goodbye, Warrior Queen.